Every life is a collection of stories. But what about the stories that never happened? The paths we didn't take? How do you talk about the life you could have had? How do you express the connection between a choice you made 10 years ago and the person you are today? To do this, you need a very special, very advanced piece of grammar magic. It is the grammar of the other life, the other you. It is called the mixed conditional, and today, we are going to master it. Welcome back to our advanced series, English Grammar Unlocked. I'm your host, Scarlett. Today, we are exploring one of the most sophisticated and expressive structures in the English language, the mixed conditional. In this episode, we will turn this complex grammar rule into a story of science and self-discovery. First, we will join a brilliant scientist, Dr. Eris Thorne, in her remote jungle laboratory as she reflects on a life-changing decision. Second, we will master 10 essential vocabulary words for talking about choices and alternate realities. And finally, for our language focus, we will break down the structure of mixed conditionals to connect your past choices to your present reality. Are you ready to explore the paths not taken? Before we can mix the past and the present, we must understand them separately. Let's quickly review the grammar of unreal worlds before we meet our main character. Part 1. The two separate worlds. A quick review. To understand our advanced topic today, we need to remember two other types of conditional sentences: the second and third conditionals. Let's quickly review. We use the third conditional to talk about an unreal past action with an unreal past result. The structure is if plus past perfect, would have plus past participle. For example, if I had studied medicine, I would have become a doctor. It's a story that lives completely in the past. We use the second conditional to talk about an unreal present situation with an unreal present result. The structure is if plus past simple would plus base verb. For example, if I were a doctor, I would work in a hospital. It's a dream that lives completely in the present. These two conditionals are like separate worlds. One is about a past that never happened. The other is about a present that isn't real. But what happens when we want to build a bridge between them? For that, we need to travel deep into the jungle and meet Dr. Eris Thorne. Now, the real magic begins. What happens when we build that bridge between the past that never was and the present that isn't real? Let's listen to Dr. Thorne's deepest reflections. Part 2. Building the bridge. The mixed conditional. Our story today is about Dr. Eris Thorne. She is a brilliant but reclusive botanist who lives and works in a remote laboratory deep in the Amazon rainforest. Her lab is filled with strange and glowing plants that no one else in the world has ever seen. She is a genius, and she is happy. But today, she is reflecting on a different life she could have had. Many years ago, When she graduated from university, she was the top student in her class. A huge, prestigious corporation offered her a high-paying job in a big city. They wanted her to develop commercial products. But at the same time, she had an opportunity to accept a small grant to do research in the jungle. It was a major turning point in her life. Dr. Thorne looks at a rare, glowing orchid that she discovered, a flower that produces a chemical that can help cure a rare disease. She thinks to herself, if I had taken that corporate job all those years ago, this beautiful orchid wouldn't exist in my lab today. I would be sitting in a glass office right now, not this jungle laboratory. Let's stop and look at this powerful sentence. This is the mixed conditional. It is a hybrid, a mix of the third and the second conditional, and it is a bridge between two worlds. Let's break it down. The if clause, the condition part, is from the third conditional. If I had taken that job. It uses the past perfect because it describes an action in the unreal past. She did not take the job, but the main clause, the result part, is from the second conditional. This orchid wouldn't exist in my lab today. It uses would plus base verb because it describes the unreal present result of that past action. This is the most common type of mixed conditional. It answers the question, how would my present be different if I had done something differently in the past? Let's listen to more of Dr. Thorne's reflections. She looks at her research notes, full of incredible discoveries. She thinks, I wouldn't be the person I am today if I hadn't followed my intuition. My life would be much less interesting now if I had chosen the safe path. And if I had listened to everyone who told me I was crazy back then, she thinks with a smile, I would still be wondering what my true purpose was. The mixed conditional is the grammar of reflection. It allows us to explore the paths not taken and to better understand the life we have now. It connects the you of the past to the you of the present. Dr. Thorne has shown us how to express the most complex what-ifs. Now, are you ready to become a grammar expert yourself? Let's break down the blueprint she used. Part 3. Language focus. First, let's master our 10 new vocabulary words for today's lesson. Our first word is to reflect. To reflect on something means to think deeply and carefully about it. For example, Dr. Thorne is reflecting on a major decision in her past. Another example is, it is important to reflect on your mistakes. Our second word is consequence. A consequence is the result or effect of an action or a condition. For example, the consequence of her decision was a life of scientific discovery. Another example is, you must be ready to accept the consequences of your actions. Our third phrase is turning point. A turning point is a time when a very important change happens in a situation. For example, choosing the jungle over the corporate job was the turning point in her life. Another example is, That conversation was a turning point in their relationship. Next, we have intuition. Intuition is the ability to understand something immediately, based on your feelings rather than facts. For example, Dr. Thorne followed her intuition, and it led her to an amazing discovery. Another example is, my intuition told me that something was wrong. Our fifth word is to pursue. To pursue something means to follow or try to achieve something over a period of time. For example, she decided to pursue her passion for science. Another example is, he is pursuing a career in music. The sixth word is prestigious. Prestigious means very respected and admired. For example, she was offered a prestigious job at a big corporation. Another example is, she studied at a very prestigious university. Our seventh word is reclusive. Reclusive means living alone and avoiding going outside or talking to other people. For example, Dr. Thorne is a reclusive scientist who prefers the jungle to the city. Another example is, the famous author became very reclusive later in his life. Next, we have breakthrough. A breakthrough is an important discovery or development that helps to solve a problem. For example, her discovery of the orchid was a major medical breakthrough. Another example is, scientists are hoping for a breakthrough in cancer research. Our ninth word is alternative. An alternative is another possibility or choice. For example, she chose the path of a scientist, but the alternative was the life of a businesswoman. Another example is, if you don't like this option, what is the alternative? And our final word is reality. Reality is the state of things as they actually exist. For example, in reality, she is happy with her choice. Another example is, his dream is very different from his reality. Now for our grammar focus. Mixed conditionals. Let's make the structure very clear. The most common type connects an unreal past with an unreal present. The formula is, if plus, subject plus, had plus past participle. This is the unreal past part. Subject plus, would plus base verb. This is the unreal present result. Let's compare all three conditionals one last time to see the difference clearly. Second conditional. Unreal present. Unreal present. If I were a scientist, I would work in a lab. Third conditional. Unreal past. Unreal past. If I had been a scientist, I would have worked in a lab. Mixed conditional. Unreal past, unreal present. If I had studied science, I would be a scientist now. You have the theory. Now, it's time for your own mental workout. How can you practice exploring your own alternate realities in English? Part 4. Practice tips for the 4 skills. For listening. Find an interview with an older, successful person, like an artist, an entrepreneur, or a scientist. Listen for the moments when they reflect on their past decisions. You might hear them use mixed conditionals to describe the turning points in their journey. For speaking, play the turning point game with your AI tutor. Use your voice. First, tell your AI about one real, important decision you made in your past, like choosing your university or your job. Then, use a mixed conditional to describe how your life would be different right now if you had made a different choice back then. For reading, read a biography or an article about a famous person. Look for the big decisions they made in their life. As you read, think about the alternative path. How would their life be different today if they had chosen differently? And for writing, this is a perfect exercise for your journal. Write a paragraph about a major turning point in your own life. Your challenge is to use at least one mixed conditional sentence to reflect on your journey. For example, if I hadn't decided to learn English, I wouldn't be listening to this podcast right now. Part 5. Your next action. Today, you have learned one of the most advanced and expressive tools in the English language. The mixed conditional allows you to explore the paths not taken. It helps you to understand your present by imagining a different past. It is the grammar of reflection, of storytelling, and of wisdom. As we conclude, let's quickly summarize our lesson today. First, we followed the story of Dr. Eris Thorne and understood how the mixed conditional connects an unreal past action to an unreal present result. Second, we clearly contrasted this structure with the second and third conditionals. We also learned 10 essential vocabulary words for this topic. As a review, those words were to reflect, consequence, turning point, intuition, to pursue, prestigious, reclusive, breakthrough, alternative, and reality. Now, I have a final question for you. Think about one decision from your past. How would your life be different now if you had made a different choice? Let's practice using the mixed conditional in the comments section below. If you are committed to making this mindset a part of your life, show your energy by smashing that like button. Be a hero for a friend by sharing this video with someone you know who loves to think deeply about life. And to lock in your commitment to learning, subscribe and smash that notification bell so you don't miss our next workout. Remember, understanding your past is a key to creating your future. Until next time, take care and happy learning.